Testing. Yes. Okay. All right. That was weird. That was like really weird. Like literally, there was nothing wrong with my mic at all. Like nothing. Everything was plugged in. It must have been a glitch. I don't know. Either way, it looks like we pretty much got everybody that we had the first time. So I don't think we lost too many people, which is great. I'm looking now. I can see the mic working down at the bottom. So I think we're going to be okay. Oh, thank you, Nash. All right. Big shout out to my right-hand man, Nash. Everybody hit Nash up in chat. Thank you, Nash, so much for being my brother, my right-hand man. Nothing that I do would be possible without you. Thanks for everything, man. Yeah, so we've got some exciting news. The days and the era and the time of sleeping at night for me are gone. Yep. It's late nights now. We've entered the era. We have officially entered the era of very little sleep. And it's okay. We've been waiting for that for a long time, right? A long time. And I've gotten plenty of rest, as I'm sure most of you have, probably more than you wanted. Everybody wants sleepless nights because sleepless nights means altcoins are ching, ching, ka-ching. Putting money in your pocket. So that's where we're at. This is going to be a very exciting YouTube because I'm going to show you on the charts exactly what's happening, where we're going. There's some really exciting bits because something happened yesterday that we have been waiting for a very long time. Yes, very long time. And so we are rocking and rolling, and we've got a lot of great things coming next week. I want to talk real quick about everything that's going on right now next week. As you all know, if you don't know, the United States government has declared next week Crypto Week. Who would have thought? How many people even imagined even a year ago, the possibility of the US government having a Crypto Week? It would never even dawn on you or cross your mind. Yeah, we knew that institutions and corporations were coming for cryptocurrency Wall Street, but the government on a parabolic level from top to bottom to top in every regulatory agency is pro crypto. The battle, the only war that matters, the war for crypto has officially begun. It's interesting the timing of the United States talking about having Crypto Week next week, where they're going to make some prolific decisions next week. Did you know? You do. If you've been following me, you already know this. The Genius Act not only gets approved by the House, but will get signed by the president next week. The Genius Act. This is, in fact, the flipping of the switch for the way economics is done in the United States. That's what's getting signed next week, the Genius Act. That which brings in and enters the world of stablecoins. This is the same world that backs the US dollar. Why? Because these stablecoins, by law, by Genius Act law, this is going to get signed into law, will be required to buy US treasuries and have a one-to-one crypto reserve asset behind every token issued if they want to do business in the United States. That gets signed next week. And we already know the line at the door of those wanting to establish their own stablecoins is prolific. It includes the likes of Amazon, Walmart, Bank of America. I can go on and on and on and on. Listen to me very closely. Anybody, big or small, that wants to be anything in the realm of finances of the future. I can't even say of the future anymore, guys. Of the present will be involved in stablecoins. period. Anybody that does not will fall to the wayside over the next 5 to 10 years. The future economy is the digital cash economy is one on the blockchain, run, operated, and ruled by stablecoins. And by the way, one of the other acts that's up during Crypto Week is the big one. It's so significant because it rings the bell of freedom. We always talk about freedom in the United States, but it rings the bell of freedom in the United States, and that is the anti-CBDC Surveillance Act. I believe next week that gets signed into law, eliminating the chance of the United States ever having a CBDC. Ever. Now, the rest of the world is not going to be so lucky. Right now, the European Union is pursuing with fervor the development of a central bank digital currency. They're not the only ones. There's about 4 or 5 other nations that are actively pursuing their method of stablecoin will be a CBDC. This is the ultimate spy tool. This is the ultimate control tool. A central bank digital currency is the ultimate. Now, it won't start out that way. It's the entry drug. I need you to get this. They're not going to just start out, bang, here's our CBDC. Here's the list of stuff you can't and can do. No, it's going to start out harmless. It's going to start out docile. But once implemented, once instituted in a nation, it can now be used to stop you at the register at will. Why am I talking about this? Because this is what the United States is going to sign against, put into law, that the U.S. will never pursue or have a CBDC. Wonderful. This is all next week, guys. So we have the Genius Act getting signed. We have the Anti-CBDC Act getting signed. We have the Clarity Act. Listen to me now. So the Genius Act had to go first because it stabilizes the U.S. economy and puts it on the blockchain and backs the U.S. dollar and keeps the U.S. dollar as the global reserve. Period. Why? Because they'll all be buying U.S. treasuries. Why? Because it'll be law. Yep. So that's phase one. Phase one. By August, and it's already making its rounds, we're going to see it begin making its rounds next week. The Clarity Act is the framework, the entire framework, the regulatory framework for the rest of crypto. And they want to have it out by the end of August, beginning of September. Signed, sealed, and delivered. We're not talking about a cycle from now. We're not talking about 2 cycles from now. We're not talking about the future. We're talking about this stuff is happening right now. I'm only talking about the fundamental stuff. We haven't even talked about the technical analysis, like what Ethereum just did yesterday, which is the most exciting thing that we've had in ages. The most exciting. Yes, Bitcoin's making new all-time highs, but this time, not with dominance. But this time, not with dominance. And I told you. When we get to the meaty part, the beefy part of crypto, Bitcoin will make its all-time highs after losing dominance to Ethereum, and that is where we are going to go right now. Why? You need to see it. You need to know it, and your altcoins need it. I told you, everybody who's been bashing Ethereum for the last year. All of a sudden, now I just saw a new one this morning. There's 6, maybe 7 Ethereum, publicly traded Ethereum treasury companies. Bitcoin now has 128. Ethereum has already 6 or 7 that had none like 2 months ago. Had 0. Had like none. This is the fastest growing trend in crypto. And by the way, you're going to start to see, we already are, altcoin treasury companies. Right now, there are altcoin treasury companies, I'm not going to remember them all, for Sol, XRP, FET, and TAO, T-A-O. And I know there's a couple others. But you need to see what is happening. what is happening on a macro Wall Street scale. All right, enough. I know you're ready for the charts. Y'all ready for the charts? Let's do it. Pay close attention. I'm going to move you guys over. Let me pull up the right chart. We're going to start with Bitcoin dominance. Yep. All right, here we go. Let's do share screen. There we are. So you're looking at a weekly chart. That means each one of these candles represents an entire week. Yep. This is Bitcoin dominance. See how this is going up? That means all this isn't the price of Bitcoin. It's a Bitcoin dominance chart. As long as this is going up, Bitcoin has dominance. However, sometime during this cycle, it always, and a lot of people are saying that was not going to happen this time, that things were different this time. Yes, there are some things that are different this time, but it ain't this one. It's not this. Bitcoin, while making new all-time highs, the dominance is being dropped. And we're going to compare this to Ethereum dominance because I want you to see it. So you have some extremes above the channel and a double top here. And now a nice, look at the volume. I want you to see the volume. Pushing down off the top of the macro bull channel. Now, this right here will be the nail in the coffin. This isn't going to happen overnight. So people expecting Bitcoin to go like this in one fell swoop, that's not how it works. Okay? It's going to trade like price action with downs and ups and downs and ups. But as of right now, I believe we are seeing the trend reversed. I'm going to zoom into the daily chart so you can see what's happening. Now, I want you to pay attention because for the first time, we have Bitcoin making new highs. I told you guys this would happen. I said Bitcoin will make new all-time highs in the last stages of Bitcoin's run, but it will lose dominance. This is it losing dominance. Everybody see that? Good. Now let's go to Ethereum. It will lose dominance to who? I'm going to back out to the weekly. We're going to look at Ethereum. This is an Ethereum dominance chart. This is the weekly chart. Get rid of some of this so you can see it better. All right, there's your low. Ethereum has never had dominance. Ethereum has never had control. The queen has never been in charge. I'm going to move over so you can see the volume. All of a sudden, look at this stack of volume down here. You have your breakout of the trend into consolidation. Now this, when I say breakout of the trend, I'm talking breakout of the downtrend. However, this is not a trend. This is a higher low. So here's your low, here's your higher low. You need one more leg to have a trend. That means we need a breakout of this range. So I'm going to zoom in on the daily and let's take a look. Sorry, get my screen right for you guys. There it is. So we had our false breakout up here. Ethereum swept the lows, dominance, swept the lows, recaptured, and is now doing what I believe to be its real breakout. This is Ethereum dominance, not Ethereum price. We need this to make a leg. Yep, to make a leg up, and you will officially have Ethereum dominance trending up. while Bitcoin dominance is breaking down. This is what your altcoins need. This is what your altcoins required to happen. Everybody was saying it didn't need Ethereum anymore. Ethereum was no longer in play. All of this was horse poo. Trust me, you are going to watch Ethereum take dominance from Bitcoin, and then you will watch your altcoins follow and pursue. That's what's going to happen. Let's take a look at Ethereum as compared to Bitcoin. So this is the Ethereum to Bitcoin pairing. I'm going to back out again. This is Ethereum as traded against Bitcoin, proving once again that Bitcoin has had control. Yep. As long as this is going down, Bitcoin has complete control of the cycle. All of a sudden, look what we've got. We've got our bounce off of last cycle's low. Same exact spot. So there are still similarities. Even though there's fundamental differences, many that are unique to this cycle only, there are technical analysis similarities that cannot be ignored, that are absolutely prolific and parabolic and speak to what is coming. Check it out. This is what happens when Ethereum takes over. This was 2020. This is Ethereum versus Bitcoin when it took over, when it took dominance. Look where we are right now. We're right here. So I'm going to zoom in on this now so you can see this on the daily. You guys need to understand this stuff because they all work in cohesion. There it is. Ethereum to Bitcoin pairing is now testing a almost perfectly horizontal top here, having swept the lows again. So it swept the lows, pushed up, found resistance, pulled back, and now pushed back into the channel and is now testing the key, what? The key part to where Ethereum to Bitcoin would be trending. Remember, this is not a trend. This is just a higher low. So there's your low, push up, consolidate. This is just a higher low. We need another leg. And you can now say Ethereum to Bitcoin. Ethereum versus Bitcoin is trending. Same with Ethereum dominance. Same with Bitcoin dominance. Now I want to show y'all something freaky. Yep. Let's back out to the weekly. Here it is. These are weekly candles. So each one of these candles represents an entire week. This is 220 days, 110 days, about 47 days, folks. We are one of the few to call each one of these correctly. Every single one we called correctly. In here, you had people saying end of cycle. In here, you had people calling end of cycle. In here, you had people calling double top, end of cycle. No. Why are they wrong? They are wrong. If you've been following, you already know the answer to this. There has never been any capitulative, distributive selling. There has never been any. There has never been any end of cycle distribution selling. There has only been normal profit taking at these peaks. Normal profit taking, but no end of cycle. As a matter of fact, as of right now, and I want you to listen very closely, over 75% of the total Bitcoin supply. You ready for this? Over 75% of the total Bitcoin supply that's out in the public is now in the hands of long-term holders. It's why you're seeing these constructs that we have never seen in any cycle before. We have never seen these incredibly long constructs in any cycle of Bitcoin before. Never. Why? Because it's completely different this time. Look at this run. There are no long-term constructs. This is a mere 3 weeks. 3 weeks. 2 weeks top. 220 days. Never before seen. 110 days. Never before seen. This is a little bit more normal, but it's still mighty, mighty long, longer than 3 weeks. Why? Because these are completely new, listen closely, completely new market structures inside of a bull run for Bitcoin that lends to Bitcoin now being in the hands of institutions, nations, states, governments, Wall Street, and out of the hands of retailers. And let me tell you something, you are never going to see cheap Bitcoin ever again. I didn't say they wouldn't have pullbacks. These are 30% pullbacks. I didn't say it'll never have a bear market, but you will never see cheap Bitcoin ever again. That era is over. Oh, and by the way, there is no, look at this new move. Look at this new move. There is no zero FOMO volume. What does that mean? What does that mean? Look at the FOMO volume representing the end of Bitcoin's run. Look at this. I want you to see this. Let me show it to you. I've shown you guys this before. I'm doing it again because I know I have new people that need to see this. Let me get it all on the screen. There it is, guys. Look at this run. Look at this volume that represented the finale, the FOMO volume, the finale. Where is it? Where is it? It's not there. Which is why I have pushed my projections on Bitcoin about a year, two years ago. Move my head. Yeah, let me move you guys over. There it is. Sorry. Where is it? It's the same. Look, there it is on the left. I'm going to try to squeeze it in because my head's in the way. There you go. Y'all see it? By the way, this looks the same in 2017. Right here. The same in 2017. Where is it? It ain't there. And as a matter of fact, I want you to look at this because this is the other thing that's very different. Look at this wad of accumulation during the bear market. We have never seen this ever in the history of a Bitcoin bear market. Now tell me how Bitcoin is ever going to be cheap again. Tell me how Bitcoin sees an 80% crash like it has every other cycle. We have left that era. We have left that era permanently. The race to accumulate Bitcoin by nations, governments, and states has only just begun. And by the way, for those that doubt me, right now there is a bill. The federal government has already established, the United States federal government has already established a reserve. I'm going to stop the share for just a second. And we'll get back to it. The U.S. federal government has already established a Bitcoin Federal Reserve, but has not begun to accumulate. They've got about 200,000 Bitcoin that they had from confiscations over the last several years. They already had that. There's a bill in the House right now for the United States. I think we might actually hear about it next week during Crypto Week. Matter of fact, that might actually get released. If it gets released, by the way, we're having this much fun now. We haven't even entered Crypto Week, which is next week. Oh, and guess what China just said? China is now meeting to make plans on a strategic approach to how they're going to do crypto. So you can see the only war that I care about, I hate war, but the only war that I care about is the war for crypto because it's going to bring massive amounts of money and wealth and institutions into cryptocurrency. It's inevitable. But the US government has a bill. Their plan is to accumulate 1 million Bitcoin, not $1 million worth, 1 million actual coins over the next 5 years. Do the math. That's one entity that wants to buy 1 million. And if you've been watching my post, I post nonstop. Institutions buying Bitcoin left and right. Oh, and by the way, they're now doing that with Ethereum. Oh, and once the Clarity Act gets launched and the Wall Street products are launched, the race for certain altcoins is going to go sky high. That is happening this cycle. That is what's happening this cycle. Somebody just asked about my Bitcoin projections. So if you had asked me 2 years ago, even a year and a half ago, my initial Bitcoin projections was about 140 to 145K. After watching this impulsive move up here with no FOMO volume, Bitcoin is going to hit the top of that channel around 130K. I do not believe that's the end. My projection for Bitcoin for this meat portion of the cycle is between 180 and 225 as of right now. 180,000 to 225,000 as of right now. I will continue to watch volume and whether there's FOMO and whether there's distribution. Remember, we are the only ones that have been looking at the right stuff. We are. Everybody else is trying to look at price action and say double top, head and shoulders, blah, blah, blah. None of them are looking at the fundamentals and what's actually happening behind the scenes. None of them are looking at on-chain data. None of them are looking at the balance of supply to demand. Nobody is, and that's why they're getting it wrong over and over and over. Constantly getting it wrong. Every single time. If they have been wrong 3 times, because this is now the third consolidation where most of these apocalyptic people have been calling end of cycle, they do not get to be right if they get it right next time. They don't, because they'll be 1 for 4. We know what to look for. We know what we're looking at, and we're going to present it that way. So before we end, we do need to look at Ethereum, because I'm very excited about what Ethereum is doing. Stand by. And then next week, by the way, I am doing an Altcoin Madness. You do not want to miss it. Do not want to miss Altcoin Madness. It'll either be Monday or Tuesday. All right, here we go. Let me share the screen. There it is, folks. Bang. And look at this up here. This is how we knew Ethereum was not done. Well, we also knew it because it hasn't had its time in the cycle. But I want you to look up here, these equal highs. Guess what's up there? Guess what's up there? Lots of external liquidity. Lots of external liquidity. So we are now beginning to stair step in the same manner that Ethereum stair step down. I'm going to zoom in on this on the daily. It'll be a better look for you guys. Yeah. So in the same manner that Ethereum has stair stepped up or down, break, test, break, test, break, test, break, test, break, test, low, break, lower high, impulsive move off the bottom, test resistance, mitigate that step, we are witnessing Ethereum stair step its way back through. By the way, there's all kinds of liquidity here. Right here. I'm going to show it to you right now. We are in a liquidity zone as we speak. There it is. There's your breakout. 2800 breakout. Boom! This is all liquidity up to 3200. Yep, this is all inside liquidity up to 3,200. So I want to make this very clear. Do I believe that Ethereum, let me this off and move you guys back over. Do I believe that Ethereum has taken dominance? Yes. Do I believe that Bitcoin has finally lost dominance? Yes. Is Ethereum officially trending based on the chart I just showed you and the new fresh breakout that it has and a move to 3,200 would confirm, yes, Ethereum is officially trending up. Inside liquidity is left behind orders by way of money or places where people have their stop losses, their entry orders, and all this is called money on the table. Market makers can see it and they like to go grab it. And it's usually, inside liquidity is usually caused by fast, long, large candles because those moves are very impulsive. They move quickly and it leaves a lot of orders behind. So it leaves that liquidity there. So market makers generally end up going back to grab it. So just because we've entered our time, our era, number one, you still need to maintain a level head. Number two, do not expect everything to go straight up. Ethereum has some price action it needs to chop through. You guys saw that stair step down, right? That Ethereum did. Expect Ethereum to stair step its way back up to the 4,200 area. Once Ethereum makes its all-time highs, I want you to listen to me. Once Ethereum makes new all-time highs, I expect to see Ethereum make $500 plus candles. Now, Ethereum is capable of doing $200, $300 candles right now, but there's a lot of price action that Ethereum has to chop back through. So don't expect that just because we've got this flip of the switch, yes, it's exciting. We want this to last as long as possible. Remember what I told you. The more it handles these price action zones and deals with them, that means breaking out and then mitigating, breaking out and then mitigating, the more stable the foundation we have and the longer and the farther our altcoins will go. We don't want anything FOMO. We don't want anything parabolic until things start making new all-time highs. Do you understand? And my gosh, do not do Bitcoin alone. If you are not inside 360 Elite, you need to do it and you need to do it now. That's it for today, baby. Next week, Monday or Tuesday, I promise we'll put it out this weekend. We're doing altcoin madness. You do not want to miss it. It is Telcoin. Telcoin. Don't miss it. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, baby. Here comes the boom.